Hello, everyone. I'm Cindy Runger. Welcome to Seattle Rotary, our Wednesday club meeting. So we have a packed meeting today. Thanks to everyone here. I see a lot of red for Lunar New Year, so you all look good. So we have a celebration for Lunar New Year, and Asanta Ning will lead us in celebration. We will also meet our newest Rotarian, Joseph Smith. I also hope that you are feeling lucky today. Just in time for Valentine's Day, we'll have a recruiter rewards from Kevin Crane of Crane Jewelers. We'll also hear from Dr. Prince on our Jamaica Denture Project. And then our main program, Bob Davidson, President and CEO of the Seattle Aquarium. Great. Please be seated for inspiration from past President Paul Ishii. Paul?
Thanks, Cindy. So happy Lunar New Year, February 5th to January 24th, 2020. It's the 12th year of the Zodiac cycle, the year of the pig. Oink, oink. All right, here's some famous pigs. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Hillary Clinton, Alfred Hitchcock, and Ronald Reagan. Now, most of the Western world runs on the Gregorian calendar with 365 days or 12 months in a year, beginning on Jan 1 and ending on December 31st. However, there are many cultures that also celebrate New Year's throughout the year, based on lunar, solar, and other ancient calendars. Here's some of the other New Year's. Seollal, Korean, February. Nyepi, Balinese, in March. Nowruz, Persian, March. Ugadi, Southern Indian, April. Diwali, Tamil, October. Rosh Hashanah, Jewish, September. And Rasa Hashanah al-Hijriya, Muslim, in August. Okay, but back to the Lunar New Year. I have to confess, I'm also a pig. No big surprise, huh? I was born in 1959, and that's on the 12th year cycle of the pig. Darn it, I could have been a dragon, a tiger, but a pig? My wife is the year of the dog. My daughter is also the year of the dog, and my son is a rat. So at home I have a pig, 2 dogs, and a rat running around. Yeah, right. Happy Lunar New Year to you, too.
So now, for our main program, we have Mark Davis. He's Senior Vice President of D.A. Davidson Trust to introduce our main program. So a couple of little-known facts about Mark. He is on the Legacy Advisory Board for Seattle Children's and also St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. But here's a really fun fact. He had purchased a home with his wife on their second date. Yeah, ask him about it. It's a cool story. Please help me welcome Mark Davis. Here you go, Mark.
Thank you, President Cindy. And as my dad always said, never underestimate the value of a great house or a great aquarium, for that matter. Yeah. Bob Davidson, our 36-year member of Seattle Rotary, is continuing our focus today on the transformation of the Seattle waterfront. In the 1990s, Bob first made an impact on our culture as CEO of the Seattle Zoological Society when he made a major revitalization effort of the Woodland Park Zoo. In 2002, Bob became CEO of the Seattle Aquarium Society, and in 2010 became CEO of the Seattle Aquarium. The Seattle Aquarium and Ocean Pavilion is now known as the crown jewel of the Seattle waterfront. Bob earned his BA from Harvard, his MBA from University of Washington Foster School of Business. Please welcome back to our podium our member who knows how to make big visions a reality, Mr. Bob Davidson.
Good afternoon, and thanks, Mark, for a great introduction. As Mark said, I'm Bob Davidson, and I've been at the aquarium for 17 years now. I'm pleased to join you this afternoon to talk about what promises to be a very exciting time for our city. The plan to dramatically re-envision the waterfront and expand the aquarium has been a long process, and I want to thank everyone who's contributed to this effort, including The aquarium's board of directors are architects, LMN and Methune, and exhibit designers. Think the mayor, city council, office of the waterfront, county executive Constantine and the county councils, state legislators, Port of Seattle, and many, many other partners, including especially the Friends of Waterfront Seattle, Pike Place Market, and our neighbors up and down the waterfront. We've been through a lot of construction the last few years, and there's more to come. I see Heidi Hughes out here somewhere, and Charlie Royer somewhere too, I think. So a lot of people have been involved. The Seattle Aquarium has been a longtime fixture of the waterfront, and like Seattle, we've grown and seen much change in recent years. We started out as part of Seattle Parks Department, and in 2010, the nonprofit Seattle Aquarium Society assumed the management of the aquarium we know today. We have done some renovation and expansion since then, but one of the most important things that we've done is to build an aquarium centered around our core mission, inspiring conservation of our marine environment. And it's that mission that is reflected in all we do. We see nearly 1 million people each year as they come to learn about our ocean and the many creatures that call it home. We distribute 70,000 free aquarium tickets to hundreds of partner agencies serving low-income families, communities of color, immigrant and refugee communities, people with disabilities, and families or individuals experiencing homelessness. Nearly 40,000 students visit each year from over 500 schools throughout the state. We deliver hundreds of outreach programs out in the community and hold innovative programming like Dream Nights for children and adults with a disability or serious medical condition. Over 2,000 preschoolers and their parents, their grandparents, attend Toddler Time free education program. And last year, we had over 1,200 volunteers donate over 100,000 hours of service, a third of which was by students. Volunteers in our award-winning Beach Naturalist program had almost 70,000 conversations with beachgoers, including probably some of you, on Seattle's area beaches at low tide. And we're leading the way in animal care, in reducing single-use plastics, and promoting sustainability and better public policy to protect our local waters. Finally, we're conducting vital conservation research to help protect marine species like sea otters, orcas, rockfish, octopus, and many others, in partnership with the University of Washington and other key marine conservation partners. The aquarium, as you can see, is a happening place. And the same can be said about Seattle. Cranes, we're back on top. The latest statistic, 59 cranes in Seattle. People moving here at over 1,000 a week. New talents, new cultures, new languages, new jobs, and new homes for all these people. And a major question for all of us is, how do we connect these newcomers to more than their job? Especially Puget Sound and the ocean, which is what brought humans to this region so long ago. We are growing at an incredible rate, and as we grow, we are figuring out how we might transform our identity from a small maritime city to a global city that is the heart of innovation, technology, industry, and ocean health. Part of that transformation is figuring out the how as we continue to grow. It also includes further defining what our priorities are so Seattle can continue to be a vibrant and welcoming place, and that process is well underway. 2 years ago, I walked the length of the Highway 99 tunnel behind Big Bertha. In this photo, I'm standing right behind her just before she finished digging at the north portal. And with huge celebration, over 100,000 of us in this city just opened the tunnel and said goodbye to the viaduct. And by summer, that will be gone. Show of hands, how many people rode your bikes, ran, walked in the tunnel on the viaduct this weekend. Wow, how about that? Pretty amazing. It's just a taste of the waterfront of the future. Well, some other excellent news is just this past month, Mayor Durkin held a press conference at the Seattle Aquarium to announce that an agreement had been reached to move forward with a long-term funding plan for the waterfront. She noted that everyone in attendance was at the equivalent of the groundbreaking for the Space Needle. And she gave her remarks just outside our Great Hall and noted the voices of children everywhere and said that that's the reason that we're moving ahead on these plans. Well, that legislation that she talked about has now been signed, and I'm excited to report that there are many other exciting things to come. This project begins with the reconnection of Seattle to its waterfront and the traditional lands of the Coast Salish people, an incredible opportunity that is a historic point for our city. This has been a long-term effort that includes a new seawall, massive transportation investments, and we're excited that it includes the new expanded Seattle Aquarium at its heart. In a moment, I'll walk you through some exciting images of what this transformation will look like, but first, I'd like to share a brief video that we produced jointly with Friends of the Waterfront that shows a sneak peek of what we have to look forward to. Enjoy.
As we've been building ourselves up in the city and built this quite hideous curtain called the viaduct, we've really sort of turned our backs to Elliott Bay.
Climate change, plastics pollution, overfishing. These are some of the biggest threats that the ocean is facing, and it is a huge problem, and it's so important for us to really start raising awareness of these issues and helping people to understand each one of us can be part of those solutions.
So the waterfront park, from the ferry terminal swooping up to the Pike Place Market, and the Ocean Pavilion sort of as the beating heart of the waterfront. That's going to reorient the whole region around the water from whence we all came.
The shoreline is vital habitat. So the first thing that the waterfront park will do is restore some of that habitat, particularly for juvenile salmon, to enable them to swim in and out of Elliott Bay.
This is the kind of project that will set a very important bar for how you integrate environmental design and sustainability into major civic projects. And the design of the seawall is remarkable, and it has habitat-forming effects for sea life.
Globally, Seattle is really at the forefront of this. This is the largest habitat enhancement along a seawall that I think is hugely important to the longevity of keeping Chinook salmon and other fishes along our shorelines healthy.
One of the really important design features of the waterfront is that the biofiltration system really filter out the toxins and all the pollutants that come through the groundwater. And it sets a really important model for how we can integrate kind of public spaces and parks into places that are also habitats for sea life.
Seattle Aquarium benefits and engages the Seattle community in many different ways, from conservation and through education. We've got some really big global issues happening, and it's important that we provide a space to bring everyone to the table.
The Ocean Pavilion is the new building that the Seattle Aquarium is doing our design and planning for, and is going to provide us a platform to connect people to these global issues that we've been talking about.
I see the Ocean Pavilion as being this hub and have an opportunity to learn and connect and share that with each and every individual they come across.
Reconnecting Elliott Bay and nature to the downtown core, when people start to think of having nature in their daily urban lives as a normal thing. And I think that will actually be one of the great victories, which is our kids and grandkids, they will love it. And the idea that we wouldn't have had it will seem almost impossible to them.
You don't get an opportunity like this in 2 generations. This is really a value statement from this community. We're about ocean health, we are about the planet, and we're about our future, and we're going to do this together.
Wow, pretty exciting stuff. So as you can see, the citizens and civic leaders have been busy working hard to fulfill the community's commitment to a waterfront for all. It aligns with Seattle's values of sustainability and protecting our natural environment. And the image you see on the screen now is a rendering that shows the park looking north from Coleman Dock. Here we see the beautiful pedestrian path along the water that will include points where people can get their toes wet. There will be beautiful public spaces, a salmon-friendly seawall, and year-round cultural, educational, recreational activities to be enjoyed by everyone. The new 20-acre park will stretch from the Stadium District to the Sculpture Park. It will include public art, a transit hub, bike lanes to help improve mobility. Here you see the promenade looking north. And here we're looking south by several of the historic piers just south of the aquarium. The park will feature many new public spaces where families and visitors alike can enjoy Seattle's urban shoreline and embrace Seattle's rich history as a maritime city and a tribal gathering place. Here we're looking north, just south of the aquarium where our current waterfront park is. The new waterfront will be activated with programmed public space, and it will bring nature right into the middle of the urban core. It will feature an amazing overlook walk that will flow down from the market front and the Pike Place Market. Here you'll see gradual pedestrian paths that will lead down a walkway over Alaskan Way and to the waterfront. And of course, it will feature sweeping views of Puget Sound from the rooftop of the new Ocean Pavilion. It will connect the waterfront to the Pike Place Market and the central city, acting as our city's new major crossroads. Here you see what are being called the Bay Steps and a rebuilt Pier 62, which is under construction, just north of the current aquarium. Then there's the part of this project that I'm most excited about, that the park will include an expanded aquarium at its heart, the anchor for this amazing project. The new Ocean Pavilion will be an iconic building, and here you see it in context with the current aquarium and the Pike Place Market integrated into the city, the water and the city. Looking from the north, you see the Bay Steps, the publicly accessible roof, and the Aquarium Plaza to the far right, a location we look forward to activating with interpretive programming for the public. And here you see what we're referring to as the Sharkulus, inspired by the Oculus in Rome, and an outside view that people will have without paying admission into the new largest exhibit in the Ocean Pavilion. We believe that it will help the public to further connect with the unique marine life that are in trouble, to build empathy in the company of family over generations. Here we're looking north at the new expansion from the front of the current aquarium. We truly believe that the Ocean Pavilion will help the aquarium take on not only the challenges facing Puget Sound and the Salish Sea, but the challenges facing our ocean on a global scale. And a sneak peek inside. This will be the state-of-the-art facility that will feature ocean stories, technology, and more. This project will not only expand us physically, it will expand us geographically, helping us to build our conservation programming and feature the species of the coral triangle of the Indo-Pacific and Hawaii, a region often referred to as the Amazon basin of the ocean because it's the marine biodiversity hotspot on Earth. These two geographies, the Salish Sea and the Coral Triangle, are connected across the Pacific and unfortunately share many of the same challenges. Challenges like plastic on our beaches, or how to protect corals or oyster beds from ocean acidification. They share threats to iconic species that we all love, like orcas and whale sharks, and face the same challenges of sea level rise, ocean acidification, and climate change that we face right here at home. What's clear is that we need to work together to find common solutions if we're going to save the ocean. The expanded aquarium will help us inspire people to not only care for our local Puget Sound, it will help millions better understand what we each do here has an impact on the ocean and vice versa. A few quick and sometimes bracing ocean science facts. Around 70% of our planet is covered by the ocean, and it is the source of every other breath we take. Life would not be possible without a healthy ocean. 80% of the world's documented fish stocks are fully to overexploited today. There are over 150 million tons of plastics in the ocean today. One day, soon, there may be more plastic than fish in the ocean. Climate change is having serious effects on the ocean and coastal communities, including ocean acidity, warming, sea level rise, and changing storm intensity and frequency. And the UN reports that these changes are coming sooner than were expected. Clearly, the ocean is in trouble. Sometimes these problems seem overwhelming. But as Sylvia Earle, one of the preeminent ocean scientists and explorers of our time, recently said, our past, our present, and whatever remains of our future absolutely depend upon what we do now. The Seattle Aquarium aspires to turn knowledge into inspiration and move people to action. We are guided by what we think of as an ocean ethic. Like a work ethic, it helps us to respect the health of Puget Sound and the ocean beyond. The aquarium has always connected future generations directly to life in the ocean. A visceral, emotional link beyond TV, beyond the movies, beyond books. It's life. My granddaughter, Fallon, in this picture, has been fortunate to make that link. My hope is that one day your children and grandchildren may join with her to shape a better future for the oceans and for life on Earth. The expanded aquarium is the perfect place to share this experience with urgency and impact. Thank you. Great, so I think we've got time for a few questions. Who's first on the mic? Right over there.
Wow, what a fabulous new building. What's the budget and how are you doing with fundraising?
Good question. We can improve the fundraising this afternoon if you like. The project is about $113 million. It's a 50,000 square foot facility, and the funding will be provided by, it's a public-private partnership. The aquarium is owned by the city of Seattle. The city will be putting in a little over $34 million, and the public investment overall from the city, the state, and the county will be about $53 million. And we'll be raising about $60 million from private sources. We've just started that in a very quiet campaign, and we're nearing $10 million on the start. Yes, right over here.
This last week at Davos, a remarkable young woman from Sweden, Greta Thunberg, made a comment to Davos that our house is on fire, but you're acting like nothing is happening. She said, I don't want your hope, I want you to panic. You know, the messaging is very interesting to me in terms of the oceans and your take on this. How would you sort of position our posture going forward in terms of should we panic, or how do we maintain kind of momentum going forward or build more momentum?
Thanks for that question, and a very apt one. Especially for those of us who live on the shores of Puget Sound and the Pacific. My sense is that is one of hope. And I think that that panic is good in the sense that it may inspire urgency, and we need urgency. Panic in the sense that it's chaos is not a useful reaction. And I think all of us in the world have to recognize the urgency of what's happening to the oceans and what that means to the future of life on this earth, and they need to do something.
Question in the back.
Yes.
I think you've got all of our attention about the urgency, and you've got a lot of people in this room that would like to do something. What are the three things that if you could just whisper in our ears, you would have us do now to change in our lives?
Thank you for that, with a call to action. So one of the things that we and our colleagues in the aquarium world are very heavily involved in right now is single-use plastics. And we think that plastic has always been here. It's actually a very new invention in the history of the world. But in that time, it's everywhere. It's so convenient. And the biggest thing that we can do with single-use plastics is not to clean it up off the beach. That's great, but that just is sort of but somewhat of a feel-good thing. The single thing we can do is to stop using single-use plastic. Consumer-driven action will cause change on the use of plastics here and everywhere. That's one thing. I think a second is simply recognize in our lives, what do we do that consumes carbon, fuel, and things that are causing warming of the oceans and of the world in general? I think those are two things that we can all do and actually have tangible experience that we can monitor ourselves.
All right, last question with Mark Davis.
A couple weeks ago, we had Bob Donegan talk a little bit about the history of Ivers and how the aquarium was part of that original vision. Could you talk a little bit about, maybe there was an aquarium before that, but whether that was really the impetus to how the aquarium got started and some of that history?
Thanks, Mark. Yes, there actually were several aquariums before the existing Seattle Aquarium. There was one at Luna Park in the early part of the 20th century. There was the Ivers Aquarium on Pier 54, and then there was Ted Griffith's aquarium, private aquarium, about just quite near where the existing aquarium is, when he was one of the first to capture a live orca and tow it into Puget Sound with a net and exhibit it in about 1966, I think, or 67, leading to a whole era of the capture of orcas and their decimation. I think that we all, those of us who were around at the time, saw that with great curiosity, and then later learned that what we were doing with these creatures was not good. But to my knowledge, those are the major aquarium bits here. Incidentally, just one other thing. The original Seattle Aquarium was built by a vote of the people of King County in 1968 when they passed the forward thrust bond issue, $5.5 million. Thank you, Jim Ellis, and all of those wise voters.
So I normally end with Proverbs, and today we have a special treat. So we're going to turn it over to Asenta, helping us celebrate the Lunar New Year. So Asenta, how would you like to close us out? Do we have a slide for that? So I will say it in English. May you have the spirit and energy of a dragon and a horse. Asenta?
It's my favorite Chinese New Year greeting. And I'll say it in Chinese. 祝大家龍馬精神. Thank you.
Thanks, Asenta. Fun program. There you have it. Happy New Year, and see you next week.